We are taking a break from League of Legends this week with some Fortnite, Rocket League, and Super Smash Bros. Championships. We have all that and more on this all-new State Champs Esports. Welcome back to another installment of our show. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm Candace. The State Champs Esports Show is a weekly recap of high school esports along with a healthy dose of gaming culture. We start every show with a huge shout out to Lawrence Tech and Hungry Howie's Pizza. They make all of this possible. This week, we are very excited to bring you the Spring Championship highlights from our friends over at the Michigan High School Esports Federation.
In this first series, it's Linden versus Catholic Central. Linden's Uncreative wins the first set, but Catholic Central's Shark takes the win here with a final match switch to Pitt, really capitalizing on Gavin's whiff. Linden's Ashton plays a range game here, with Min Min against Slummy's Jigglypuff. It gets close, but Ashton is able to get a back throw kill, resulting in Linden moving on to the next bracket. Next, we have Lowell's Red Team versus Durand. Right off the bat, first game here, Caesar Ace spikes DMR twice with Diddy Kong and wins the game in one of the fastest matches I've ever seen. After some volatile matches, Caesar Ace does score a win for Lowell. Lowell's Bootleg as Ness wins the first match, kind of close, but the second match keeps a pretty large stock lead, dishing combos and patiently waiting for the grab kill, taking Lowell's red team further into the bracket. Next, we have Detroit Catholic Central versus Greenville. Greenville's Sahaya showcases solid guard cancels and up tilt combos, but overall not chasing, shielding, and punishing off to that, and their patience pays off when they're able to roll back onto stage with a short hop back air and take this matchup. Triscuit wins back a score for Detroit Catholic Central. It's a close few rounds, but going in with Pac-Man, they really pull off some stellar combos and tenacity here, giving free Melee's Mario 2 game-ending whacks. DCC's Muffin Man, playing as Triscuit, takes a full advantage of Greninja's maneuverability, securing fantastic combos, controlling the stage, and game-ending Bob Ross's Peach, securing Detroit Catholic Central's position in the bracket. Here in the semifinals, we have Midland High versus Loy Norix. Loy Norix's GNW Gaming's DK absolutely destroying Midland's Joker, showcasing not just the brute strength but some crazy combos, and just an outright disrespectful spike here to finish. You absolutely love to see it. A lot of back and forth here between all team members, but ultimately Midland High does come out on top with a satisfying stomp for Midland's King K. Rool. Loy Norix turns it around after a crazy back and forth 4 matches, but Loy Norix's Bowser, against the odds, Lance takes advantage of a relaxed landing by Pitt and secures her spot in the finals with an up tilt. Here in Series 1 of the championships, we see Detroit Catholic Central's Palutena versus Loy Norix's Donkey Kong. Palutena wins 3 whole matches, taking full advantage of her multi-hit nair and side Bs, absolutely not giving any ground for this match and taking the first series for Loy Norix. Here in Series 2, after losing to Pac-Man twice, Loy Norix decides to go with Wolf against Catholic Central's Greninja. We get 2 Wolf wins. Loy Norix switching Sephiroth, hoping to take the momentum, but Catholic Central's Greninja once again showcasing their control of the character's speed to read Sephiroth's every move. Switching back to Wolf, Loy Norix's Wolf comes back with a Fury, weaving through Greninja's fast attacks, finding the exact right time to strike and winning the Spring 2021 Playoff Championship.
Hey guys, this week our associate producer Alec is reviewing Resident Evil Village.
Resident Evil Village, Capcom's 8th major installment in the Resident Evil series, launched on May 7th with overwhelming praise. The story starts with Ethan and Mia Winters moving to Europe after the horrific events they encountered 3 years prior in Louisiana. With their newborn daughter Rose, they try to find some peace and quiet, but the events of the past still haunt them. Ethan awakens in the woods at night alone and begins to search for Rose. After a short walk through the woods, Ethan comes upon a village where things seem amiss.
Hey, are you listening?
Soon after arriving, Ethan finds himself in another waking horror, as he's attacked by hundreds of lichen, which he barely survives. With a lead, he starts a search for Rose by investigating the 4 lords of the village and a mysterious figure known as Mother Miranda.
Must be pretty tough, huh?
What are you?
Oh, you're not local. Even better. Mother Miranda's gonna love you.
Resident Evil 8's controls work very well for its first-person survival horror game setting. If the controls were put in any other game, they could be seen as slow and clunky, but the pace of RE8 makes the controls fit perfectly when navigating the world. A big part of Resident Evil 8 is its inventory management. With limited resources and limited space, you need to organize your inventory and make sure you have enough space for not just your weapons, but also your first aid, lockpicks, and ammo, making you think about what you may or may not need to bring with you. For the most part, Resident Evil 8 was a smooth experience, with a handful of issues that didn't ruin my experience. The biggest one was the game freezing my entire PC, which happened a couple of times. The only other issue I encountered was some frame rate skipping and frame rate drops. Both issues were easily fixed by disabling any overlays. After that, the freezing and nearly all frame rate issues were fixed. Resident Evil 8's gameplay starts off at a slow pace. With you not knowing what's around the next corner and with limited options for fighting and a low amount of supplies, it is sometimes best to run rather than fight. As you progress, your arsenal grows, so your options for combat become more diverse, allowing you to fight enemies with more confidence. As this happens, the number of enemies you encounter become more numerous. To help you deal with the increase of enemies is the only friendly face you'll encounter in the game.
I've been waiting for you, Mr. Winters.
How do you know my name?
Anyone who is anyone has heard of the likes of you.
The Duke is a merchant that will sell you new weapons, ammo, and healing items for treasure and money you find hidden throughout the village. The Duke also helps you upgrade your weapons and your health and other stats.
Leave.
Resident Evil 8 does a great job balancing the time you are fighting and the time you spend exploring, looking for supplies, treasure, and clues to help you find your daughter. Resident Evil Village is an amazing addition to the franchise. Unlike the majority of the games in the series, the first-person perspective makes the game more engaging and builds up the tension of the horror moments. Whether you've been a longtime fan or this is your first time venturing into the franchise, Resident Evil 8 is a fun, tension-filled horror game to pick up.
For our final MiHSEF Championship recap, producer Kevin Trzynski has all of the Rocket League highlights.
The 2021 Spring MiHSEF Tournament for Rocket League recently concluded, and a high school esports team across the state of Michigan competing for the chance to become state champs. Not your standard 3v3 matchup, 2v2 duos opens up the arena for a high-paced, high-scoring matchups throughout. Finishing in 4th place, the Divine Child Falcons won, would start their games hot, scoring early, but then failed to win against Detroit Catholic Central. More on the Rocks in a bit. The 3rd place finish would belong to Portage Central, insert name, who defeated Divine Child Falcons 1 for the podium finish. Here, Portage Central is going up against East Grand Rapids and about to make it to the finals. East Grand Rapids came out on top, winning the best of 7 series in a close 6. And finally, the championship round, East Side versus West Side of the state. Detroit Catholic Central and East Grand Rapids. 2 athletic powerhouses turning their esports programs into the same mold. The DCC Shamrocks A would open up Game 1 playing fantastic, both ends of the ball, scoring 7 and shutting out the Pioneers. In the end, it was DCC Shamrocks A coming up with a clean 4-game sweep and taking home the 2021 Spring MiHSEF Rocket League State Championship.
Thank you, Kevin. I know he's itching to get our Rocket League tournament back up and running this fall. Now, to wrap up the show, we've got this visit to Divine Child High School.
Why, right, hi, I'm Eric Hines, head coach here at Divine Child High School. I'm known as Old Man Merlin on Discord if you're ever reaching out. The organization started about 4 years ago with Mr. Mooney and Mr. Scala. Mr. Mooney is still here at DC. Scala has moved on to Concordia University as the head coach over there. They grew the program up from League of Legends. They started joining with LTU's own state champs organization, and they even hosted their own playoff tournament about 4 years ago. Since then, I stepped in. I took over as initially the casual video game club coach, and we started with Mario Kart, Smash. We did some Guitar Hero. We did some racing games. But in that process, we discovered there was a real hunger in DC for competitive gaming outside of League of Legends. So I built my first tournament here at DC 3 years ago with a Mario Kart tournament. Turned out pretty big for us. Being a small school of less than 800 students, we had 40 students show up. After that, we ran our first Smash Brothers tournament, and that's when I really saw that esports light. We had a huge portion of the school turn up, show up, had a great 3-day tournament, and from there we grew our first esports team. Tried to build up a in-person, face-to-face tournament. We played schools such as Ferndale, we headed out to UDJ, several schools we played face-to-face, and that's when we started our conversation with MiHSEF. After that, we picked up a Rocket League team because students just started knocking on my door. Hey Merlin, do you wanna run Rocket League? How about Madden? Can we do Valorant? So as a one-man show at this point, I settled on Rocket League and Smash. It's the games I knew the best. And we've been running with MiHSEF ever since. We had some really good showings in MiHSEF's 3v3 Rocket League, LTU's own state champs, and Battle Academy later in the fall. And this year, Rocket League, we placed 4th in 2v2s, and we had several Smash teams seed pretty high in their Smash competition, with my Falcons A team making it all the way to 8th place, I think, for that event. If you have any questions, once again, I'm Old Man Merlin. Hit me up on Discord. You can find me on the MiHSEF server or the DC Discord server as well.
That's all we've got for you this time around, but don't worry, we'll be back next week with more esports and gaming madness. Do us a solid and follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast, Gamers Unlimited. For everyone at State Champs Esports, thanks for watching and hasta la vista, baby. I don't know, they were like, you should get a big plate of spaghetti. I was like, do you have one?